Hi, I'm Pastor Lavern and welcome to Take 5. I want to talk about prayer. Patrick Payton coined a very inspiring statement when he said, "A family that prays together stays together." Charles Spurgeon said, "I would rather teach one man to pray than 10 men to preach." Ellen G. White says to us again, "If ever there was a time when each house should be a house of prayer, it is now." Our world is surrounding us with so many negative influences to the extent that we can not hear the voice of God. The voice of God is being drowned out. And so it is important that in these times we make prayer an important element of our family experience. Prayer has two dimensions, the vertical dimension and the horizontal dimension. The vertical dimension has to do with how we connect with God. The horizontal dimension has to do with how prayer connects us to each other as family members. The Institute of Family Studies conducted a research on the impact of family prayer and found the following impact on couples. Shared prayer is the most powerful predictor of relationship quality among couples. Prayer helps couples deal with stress, enables them to focus on shared beliefs and hopes for the future, and allows them to deal constructively with challenges and problems in their relationship and in their lives. The research also found the following effects, not only on couples, but on praying families as well. Number one, families used prayer time as a way to transmit religious traditions to younger generations. Secondly, prayer enables family members to address problems or stresses that they are facing, as well as reducing tensions in their relationships. Number three, prayer helps family members bond with one another and creates a sense of family unity. According to the Harvard School of Public Health, the practice of prayer during childhood is linked to better physical, mental, and emotional well-being among young adults. A life of prayer and an integrated spirituality gives rise to an experience of God, and so an adolescent does not need to turn to drugs or risky sexual behaviors for this. With the potential to strengthen marriages, unite family members, and boost adolescent decision-making, prayer is one of the keys to a flourishing family. Mike Merrill highlights the following benefits of prayer together with your spouse. Prayer together humbles you. Prayer teaches you to be other-focused. We're living in a world that is so self-centered. People are worried about the way they look. People are worried about the perceptions that people have about them. But Mike Merrill tells us that prayer teaches you to put others first. The third thing he mentions is that prayer together encourages vulnerability and grace. The fourth thing he mentions, prayer together increases trust and intimacy with your spouse. The fifth thing he mentions, praying together strengthens the bond of the marriage. The sixth thing, prayer changes people. And I've experienced this. You've often heard it being said in religious circles that prayer changes things. And the last thing he says is praying together reminds you that God is the sole source of life, truth, love, and hope. Benefits of praying together as a family. Family prayer builds bonds with one another and with God. Family prayer promotes good health. Family prayer opens hearts to forgiveness. Family prayer teaches children to seek God first. Family prayer makes faith a priority. Family prayer builds a legacy of answered prayer. All too often, we neglect prayer. All too often as families, we forget to pray. All too often as families, we forget in the mornings to connect with God. And so the Bible teaches us that we must pray without ceasing. The psalmist says in the book of Psalm, chapter 5, early in the morning, you will hear my prayer rising up to you. Isn't that interesting? That in the life of Christ, Christ made prayer an important element of his ministry. How can we resist temptation without prayer? How can we fight the evil one without prayer? The Apostle Paul tells us in the book of Ephesians that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against forces that are in the unseen world. Finally, the Apostle Paul tells us that we must pray. Peter then says to us, the devil walketh about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. He can only devour those who permit him to. If we, in the words of James, resist the devil, he will flee from us. Without prayer, we cannot resist the evil one. And so, a statement which is said by many preachers, more prayer, more power. Less prayer, less power. Let us have families who are praying families so that we can stand in these difficult times.
Take 5 is a show produced by the Chizipiti Church, a fountain of love, and is made possible by support from many partners. If you wish to follow more of our studies on these and many other subjects, please connect with us on the Chizipiti SDA Church on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Like our platforms and share with us your comments. We also have our plug-in team ready to pray with you and encourage you through life's challenges. So please connect with us and would love to pray with you. We can't wait to hear from you. And remember, when life seems to drown you, just take a moment, take a break, and take 5 to reflect.
Thank you for joining us on Take 5. I look forward to your comments, your contributions, and your questions. See you in the next episode. God bless and God be with you.